Temporary, Prabhu. After 1 month, 2 months lockdown. So Krishna bless you all the time. Let lockdown not make you fearful for the association of the devotees, which you have been hankering all the time. But what makes us to go away from this association, we'll tell in the Bhagavatam today. The cobweb, he weaves a wonderful, net along with him. But he doesn't know that the cobweb is also going to be the cause of the death for him. So we try to spread our materialistic activities and this and that, making our happiness, modes of happiness, very, very intense. But we don't know, we die within that. So be simple and be blissful and be happy. 50 years back, one person was earning and 10 people were eating. Now 10 people are earning and 10 people are unsatisfied. What is the reason? So it's unimaginable. But when we get confused, we have to fall back to the Shastra and make ourselves reaffirm with the Vedic literature, Vedic connection, and make our living very beautiful. So, all set, sir? Dhananjaya Prabhu ki jai ho. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajala Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajala Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Randana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jai Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe 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 Jagati Radhe 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 Jagati Radhe Hare Radha Madan Jai Gauranita, Jai Gauranita. Gaurani, Jai Gaurani. Jayam Shipad Paramatsa Prabhacharya Sutra Sat, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Deputy Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar, Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Kapurnath Radha Kumsham Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. वृंदावन धाम की जाए, मथुरा धाम की जाए, द्वारका धाम की जाए, रामेश्वर बद्रीनाथ धाम की जाए, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जाए, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जाए, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जाए, गंगा माई जमुनामाई की जाए, वृंददेव स्मारान की जाए, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाए, श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन जी की जाए, श्री निताई गौर सुंदर भगवान की जाए, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Footfall Light Program ki jai, Harinama Sankirtan ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Gaur Premanande, all glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories Sri Guru and Gaur Ranga. I'd like to dedicate this pravachan to two people today. One is one of the finest devotees in Manipur, Radha Charan Das, who just passed few days back, maybe on the same day when Sudhir Jha also passed away. And Radha Charan Prabhu has been a fantastic devotee in Manipur, a very, very famous businessman, but he met his Holiness Sarup Damodar Maharaj, 1970s, and he dedicated his life to his spiritual master. And he was doing business, he was doing everything, but he helped the spiritual master to establish in the remotest part of Manipur a wonderful Mani Mandir. A wonderful, humble devotee. And I feel very, very separation from that gentleman who has taken care of me when I was in, maybe I was in 90s, I went to Manipur. I went 2-3 times. One was when I did a huge program of R.D. Burman for the temple benefit, and where Asha Bhosle, R.D. Burman, and so many people went there, and there were almost about 50,000 people in that program. So this Radha Charan Prabhu was instrumental in doing a lot of things. And apart from that, he was also instrumental. He was the temple president of Manipur then, now, while he was doing his devotional service. And all of a sudden, he just left. And it's very saddening. A very humble soul, very, very humble soul. And Radha Charan Prabhu, Sarup Damodar Maharaj was not even moving even a month's step when he used to be in the Manipur. It was Radha Charan, Radha Charan, Radha Charan. as such a persona. And all the way from Manipur, he would come down to Calcutta to woo his businessmen, please help us the temple. And I feel really sorry about it and very, very sad about it. And we have Sudhir Kumar Jhaji, who also left on 9th May. And I've heard very good glories of him from our Jhaji here. And he was born in 1966. And that means he was practically just a very young person. He was only 55. And he was a very fantastic executive, and he was always working very, very diligently, reading Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavatam, and so many things. And that's the quality of a wonderful person. And he was the chief general manager of Reserve Bank. And in spite of doing all these responsible jobs, he didn't forget to read Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavatam to inspire his fellow beings and get a lot of strength from Supreme Lord. And I would like to express my condolences, Mrs. Nina Jha, who is here watching this Bhagavatam class, and two wonderful kids, Shashank here, and may Krishna give you all the strength and blessings to carry out the separation of your dad in such a manner that you become always glorious, and people should know you that he is, Sudhir's son. And then we have Sambhavi, and all the blessings to you, Sambhavi, and be wonderful devotee of the Lord. Carry out the wonderful instructions of your dad and serve your mother henceforward very diligently, so that you understand, what is father, and in separation of the father, how can you roll out your responsibilities to your mother, brother, and all that what you do. And we pray to the Supreme Lord, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji, Shri Shri Kondita Ji, Srila Prabhupada Ji, for happy journey of your father, and that journey should end at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no lamenting, no hankering, and no coming back to this material world. And that is called devotional service. And since he was a reader of the Bhagavatam and reader of the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm sure Krishna must have a great plans for him. So this is what I would like to dedicate this, Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading this morning the canto number 6, the chapter number 9, and the verse is 11, Shlok Sankhya 11. Hata putras tatha tvashta. Hata putras tatha tvashta. Juhavendriya satrave. Juhavendraya satrave. Indra satro vivardaswa. Indrastro vivardasva. Machiram jahi vidvisham. Machiram jahi vidvisham. Hatta putrastatha stvashta. Juhavendraya satrave. Indra satro vivardasva. Machiram jahi vidavisham. Machiram jahi vidvisam. Ata putra satastvasta. Johavendraya Sasutrave Indra Satro Vivardasva Machiram Jahi Vidvisam. Word to word translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hata putra who lost his son. Tatha thereafter Tvashta Johava performed a sacrifice. Indraya of Indra Satrave for creating an enemy. Indra Satro, O enemy of Indra. Vivardasva, increase. Ma, not. Chiram, after a long time. Jahi, kill. Vidhi Visam, your enemy. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. After Vishwarup was killed, his father Tvashta performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. Kindly repeat after me. After Vishwarup was killed, his father, Tvashta, performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. There was one defect in Tvashta's chanting of the mantra because he chanted it long instead of short. And therefore the meaning changed. Tvashta intended to chant the word Indra Satro, meaning O enemy of Indra, In this mantra, the word Indra is in the possessive case, Shastri. And the word Indra, Shastro, is called Tat Purusha, that is compound, Tat Purusha Samasa. Unfortunately, instead of chanting the mantra short, Tvashta chanted it long, and its meaning changed from the enemy of Indra to Indra, who is an enemy. Consequently, instead of an enemy of Indra's, there emerged the body of Vritrasura, of whom Indra was the enemy. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumlitam Yenai Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Unyavadi Pasyati Deshitarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratusse Namah. Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmahitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanti Radha Kanti Namusute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpadrubhyasya kripa sindhubheva-cha patithanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you very much for coming for this class. And it's quite alarming that we all focus on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And life has been very, very blissful in the assembly of the Vaishnavas. And in the assembly of the Vaishnavas, when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam daily, you ought to sort of delink yourself from the material activities or the consequences of the material activities. That's the purpose. That's the purpose. And if we fail that purpose while executing our devotional service, we'll be doing disservice to ourselves, forget about others. So as I said earlier, I'm trying to dedicate this Bhagavatam to Radhacharan Prabhu, one of the finest devotees in Manipur, and to Sudhir Jaji today. Of course, every time, whenever I present my classes, I present and dedicate my classes to such wonderful souls who are left in a week or whatever it is. And these two souls, as I said, that Radhacharan was a very good friend of mine, and he served me, and his persona was so humble, so nice, that I cannot forget him. And he's always on my eyes. And Sudhir ji, who has been a wonderful banker, he was working with the Reserve Bank. He has got family, kids, cousin brothers, and a good reciter of the Bhagavad Gita and a Bhagavatam. And Krishna bless you both wherever you are. So, coming back to our, this wonderful chapter of appearance of a demon, Vritrasura, we must understand, before we come to this topic, we must understand, we must absorb that what did we learn in the last chapter. In the last chapter, we have learned the importance of Narayan Kavach, and we have learned the importance of the mantras. We should not just forget what we have learned and try to focus on this, but we must understand how this whole chronological descriptions of the Srimad Bhagavatam from the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami is coming for the benefit of all fallen souls. He's making in the earlier chapter, he's talking about the importance of the mantra, which modern people ought to, they are forgetting every day. They think their modern technology will help them. They think that they will, their job will help them. Their, money will help them. No, sir. Here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a Narayan Kavach, how you chant, how you purify yourself, how you worship the Lord. And if you do it perfectly, nothing is going to touch you. Mind that. Any devotee, one who takes 100% surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna without hankering, without lamentation, without having a consolidated faith, he will have to face the problems. But those who have 100% faith in the mantra, Guru, Krishna, they will be always safe. And that's why Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj is explaining the Narayan Kavach to Parikshit Maharaj. And these mantras are very, very powerful. They are not imaginary. They are not mythological. They are not just mundane. Mundane are those people whose minds are completely captivated by the illusory energy of Krishna. It's not mundane for those people who have dedicated their life for the service of Krishna. It's our impediments. It's our weaknesses that we are not flourishing incognito with the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. It's our weaknesses, and shun away that weakness. That weakness can be shunned by materialistic people, even partially the devotees, or those impersonalists who think that Lord is impersonal. We have to dedicate 100%, and the mantras have the power. That's why when we are entering the Garbhagriha, Narayan Kavach is telling us how to purify yourself. When you are offering flowers, what is the mantra? When you are doing Archana, what is the mantra? When you are doing the Bhoga, what is the mantra? When you are dealing with the Vaishnava, what is the mantra? And if this mantra is understood by us very, very nicely, we will not be deprived from what we have to have, whether materialistic or spiritualistic. Lord is not partial. Our devotion is very weak. Our devotion is filled with envy, greed, lust. And anybody filled out with lust, greed, envy, he will not success in spiritual life. And one who is completely bereft of these things, he will make an onward journey to the spiritual life, just like an arrow shot from the, what is that? From the bow. Yes, thank you very much. When the arrow is shot from the bow, it hits the target and it goes with a speed. The same thing when a Brahmana chants the mantra with purity, with pure dedication, it has to hit. It has to hit the lotus feet of the Lord. It has to hit the emotions of the Lord. And it has to have a purity. So we see in this, that in this, the Narayan Kavach, whoever chants the Narayan Kavach will be always protected from all the impediments. But we are slacking because of our shortfalls. We get completely problems, our own problems. Then we enter to this chapter where we see that Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj is talking. Hey Parikshit, I have heard, because the spiritual life is always hearing. It's all connected with hearing. Shrishnoti. You hear from an acharya, you hear from a guru, you hear from the great sages, you hear from the Sukdev Goswami Maharaj, you hear from Narada, you hear from Prahlad, you don't hear from these all modern politician rascals. They cannot deliver you. They cannot give you happiness in this material world. They can promise something. They can promise you moon, but they deliver not even the pebbles. But here, when you are convictedly, completely convinced what Sukdev Goswami Maharaj is talking, Sukdev Goswami Maharaj is saying that I have heard it. What? What did he hear? That Vishwarupa had 4 heads. A Brahmana was having 4 heads. We hear Brahmaji had 4 heads. Here we see Vishwarupa had 4 heads. And with these 4 heads, he was doing all 4 activities. We have even 1 activity and we are doing all damn thing with one head. We speak nonsense. We try to want to have anything good for ourselves from the main. But when we have to chastise others, we'll use the same face. How can they do that? How can a person use the same mouth for blasphemy and the same mouth for prayers? We may think that the same mouth can please God. Mind it, my dear friends. No, it is not going to please God. You have to have many verses. Then you come to the understanding that you have got one mouth and that has to be dedicated for the pleasure of God. But unfortunately, it's not happening to the modern man. He's using it for so many activities. And that's why this material world is inviting the wrath. This material world is inviting the wrath of the demigods, wrath of Supreme Lord, and so many other people. And we always say, why me? We say, no, mere saath kya ho gaya? We don't introspect ourselves. Where do we stand in tandem, in nitto with the Shastra? Our condition is very, very bad. We are only just like animals, eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. And that's our activity. So here, Vishwarupa had 4 heads, and with these 4 heads, he was doing different things. One mouth, he was drinking somras. Second mouth, he was drinking sura, a particular type of a sort of a liquor. Okay. The third mouth, he was hearing, he was using it for, he was eating food. So like that, and his father was actually a Vasalya Aditya devotee. So he was not an ordinary person. And at the time of the yajna, he recited wrong mantra. If you recite your wrong mantra, it is going to have consequences. So before you chant any mantra, you must know the meter. What happened? He was supposed to do short and he did long. So problem, what happened? Consequences, what happened? Then while he was doing all these, offerings to the demigods, he also did offering to demons. Why? Because his mother was from a demon side. Okay. So as a Brahmana, when he was doing whatever it is, without, maybe with compassion or whatever it is, he was also offering the oblation to the demons. And this act Indra saw. He said that, oh, this is not correct. A Brahmana is supposed to be nishkapat. Brahmana is supposed to be very pure. Brahmana is, that's why he is very, very, very nice to everybody, because they open their heart very nicely. Recently, one of the finest Brahmana, Vaishnava, left the body in Mayapur. His name was Panchangri Prabhu. So all the people who used to come to the Dham, they used to come and serve him, try to do something. He used to say that, how can we serve? So that is the nature of a pure Brahmana who has been in the service of the Lord for 50 years. Undeviated devotional service. Undeviated devotional service executed at the dust of Radha Madhav. Everybody used to relate. A pure-hearted person can relate to every person. An impure heart person cannot relate. And what will happen? He will come under the emotions. Ye tera hai, ye mera hai. Ye mera patni hai, ye mera uska patni hai. Ye mera bacha hai, ye uska bacha. Ye ho jata. Just like, the Mohini Murti, while she was going through and she was in the demons and she was in the assembly of the Devatas. So Mohini Murti, she came into the existence because she wanted to snatch away the nectar for the only Devatas. But there were so many other people in disguise sitting here and there and all that stuff. That story I don't want to touch now at this moment. But what I mean to say that this whole duplicity attitude of any person can attract a rat. Can attract a rat. So Indra saw this. And he was not impressed by him. He said, "अरे ये तो राक्षसों को भी अपनी आहुति प्रदान कर रहे हैं, ऐसा क्यों करेंगे?" तो उससे क्या हुआ? तो उन्होंने क्या किया? इंद्र ने उनको मार डाला. And he killed this Vishwarupa. And what happened then? When Brahmana is a Brahmana, he may have done something wrong, but Indra, he is the the chairman of the demigods, correct? And he did this act of killing a Brahmana. When he killed a Brahmana, there was a curse. And there's going to be an effect of the curse. And when he realized it, as the chairman of the Devatas, he is supposed not to do this. But for 1 year, he accepted this curse. But one thing is very clear, you all have to understand, which nobody touched all this time. Brahmana is a mouth, and today is also we are offering an oblation, our respects to the Sudhirji and all the new. Brahmana is a mouth of Lord. The Lord says that Brahmana is my Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahma Hitaya, Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya, Namo Nama. Krishna loves two people, Brahmana and a cow. And that's why on the 13th day or a 10th day, when there is a mrityu in the house, we like to see that we offer something to the Bhoga, to the Brahmanas. 13 Brahmanas, 17 Brahmanas, as per their own strength. It's nothing wrong about it. It's because Krishna is accepting that Brahmanas are my. He is respecting Brahmanas. And what to speak of a Vaishnava who was completely manase, tanase, dhanase, who has dedicated himself completely, that Vaishnava is much more greater than a duplicit Brahmana who is trying to do work for his own living. So when you offer a complete special bhoga to the Vaishnavas, Krishna becomes very pleased. Krishna becomes, because he says, Brahmanas are my mukh. Brahmanas are my mouth. And when they get satisfied, Krishna gets also satisfied. So here, Indra accepted the curse. And then what happened? After 1 year, he just accepted the curse. Maybe in that 1 year, he may have become also the pig or something like that. I don't know. Any researchers will tell us. But when he came back, and he said that, I'm going to share this curse with 4 people. Okay? And that also, it cannot be of his own. It's, our Naradji said on the other day, it's by the mercy of the Lord. By the mercy of the Lord, you can share that. Because he realized it, and Lord is compassionate on an Indra, because Indra is also having a very big portfolio. And when Lord sees that an Indra has done this act, he has to also help him. So this is what is very, very important. So the Indra shares this curse with the 4 people.